Our phone lines are open right now, and detectives are really hoping that you can help with today's first appeal, the brutal murder of a woman in the seaside town of Eastbourne. For more than 16 years, Margaret Kiely has been grieving for her daughter.
I raised a perfect child. You know, she was sweet, loving, giving, ambitious. She was a nice girl, very nice girl, very pretty.
In 2005, 35-year-old Jennifer Kiely was murdered.
She was a very good kid. That's why it's so hard to take this in, that she's no longer with us. You know, that's the hard part.
Her killer has never been found. Jennifer's murder shocked the town of Eastbourne in East Sussex, where she lived, and was the subject of a major police investigation. But after 2 years, with no viable leads, the investigation was put on hold. However, since 2017, the police have been actively pursuing new lines of inquiry. Detective Superintendent Emma Heater now leads the investigation.
Old homicides that aren't solved are never filed. We assess them every couple of years to see if there are any new techniques, new technology, new forensic methods that we can apply to old cases to try and progress them.
In early 2005, Jennifer was living a transient life on the streets of Eastbourne. It hadn't always been like this. A few years before, Jennifer had been living in a house in London with her partner and 3 children.
She was just a normal mother, you know. She loved to play with her children. She would sit down on the floor and play with them. She was a good mum. She just loved her kids.
But shortly after the birth of her 3rd child, her mental health suffered and she struggled to cope.
I think she was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. And we tried to help her, but Jennifer was too proud. She was too proud.
By now, she had become a well-known character in Eastbourne, pushing her belongings around in an old buggy, wearing a distinctive long grey coat, and sleeping where she could.
She did seek support from charities such as the Salvation Army, so people would have known her from charitable organisations such as that.
Detectives were able to piece together her last known movements on the evening of the 21st of January, 2005.
Jennifer had spent the day with friends at an address in Upton Gardens. She'd come and gone from the address during the day.
After having a bath at her friend's house, Jennifer left the address at around midnight.
How you doing?
And headed back.
I'm done.
Onto the streets.
At 1 o'clock in the morning, she is seen by a friend who knew her and recognised her.
Hello, Jenny.
Hello.
She was seen to be heading westerly along Eastbourne seafront in the direction of Holywell.
During the night, Jennifer had made her way down to the lower tier of the promenade near Holywell, finding refuge in a seafront shelter.
Eastbourne Prom, during the daytime, it's very busy. Lots of families walk here, dog walkers, runners. But at night, it's very different. It's very secluded, it's unlit.
At 5 in the morning, Jennifer's body was discovered by cleaners in the furthest shelter along the seafront towards Beachy Head.
So this is the beach shelter where Jennifer was found. The beach shelter has been partially reconstructed, so it's not exactly how it would have been in 2005. But when Jennifer was found by the cleaners, she was completely inside the shelter where you see the benches now.
Jennifer was found with multiple stab wounds. Her belongings were all piled on top of her, and she had been set alight.
I don't know how anybody could have done that. It's incomprehensible. She was no threat, but he took her life from her. And took mine too, to a certain extent.
Despite a major police investigation and a nationwide appeal on Crime Watch,
Well, please don't let Jennifer's killer get away with it. 3 children have lost their mother.
police were not able to find her killer.
The biggest challenge to this investigation was probably Jennifer's lifestyle. There wasn't an address for us to go and search. She didn't use mobile phones. There wasn't a financial footpath. It was difficult to track down people that may have had contact with Jennifer. We didn't know if this is somebody who knew Jennifer or whether it was a stranger. This was a very, very complicated case to try and solve.
The investigation was reopened in 2011 and then again in 2017, when developments in forensics gave detectives a new line of inquiry.
We have now got new DNA at the scene, which is very significant for this investigation, but we need to find the person whose DNA that is. We really need the public to come forward and help us on this.
January saw yet another anniversary of Jennifer's murder. It is the 16th her mother Margaret has endured.
I think about her every day, but on her anniversary, I can't stop, I can't switch her off. You know, I get mad. Somebody somewhere knows who it is and what he's done. Just please come forward and let us know.
It really is such a sad case. And joining us now by video call is Detective Superintendent Emma Heater, who we saw in the film there. Emma, good morning. What can you tell us about what happened that night?
Yeah, good morning. It was a Friday night into a Saturday morning in late January, so people may well have been walking home after a night out and may have seen or heard something, but at the moment haven't come forward and spoken to the police about it.
So what do we know about her last movements?
Jennifer had spent the day with friends in Upperton Gardens. She had a bath late at night and then left the premises around midnight. She's seen on CCTV in Langley Road near the Kentucky Fried Chicken restaurant, and a short time later, at about 1 o'clock in the morning, is seen by 2 separate people near to Eastbourne Pier, and she's walking along the prom towards Holywell.
And it's just a few hours after that that sadly she was found murdered.
That's right. So at just after 5 o'clock in the morning, cleaners found Jennifer. They called emergency services. Sadly, Jennifer was dead following a horrific attack.
Now, it's been 16 years since the murder, but you've recently found some new evidence that could be crucial as part of this investigation. Tell us that.
That's right. Thanks to forensic advances, we now have DNA at the scene, which is not a match to anyone on the database. This is a vital piece of evidence, but it can also help us to eliminate anybody from the inquiry.
Yeah, and that could be absolutely crucial. Now, there is one man who you would like to speak to. This was someone who was in the Eastbourne area on the night of Jennifer's murder. So you still want to identify and speak to that person?
That's right. A witness described a man seen a couple of streets back from the seafront behind the Grand Hotel. He's described as speaking with an Eastern European accent. He's white male, around 5'10", slim to medium build, with short, light blonde hair, wearing a dark blue jacket, grey jeans and white trainers.
Thank you. And just to reiterate, for those who are watching this now, the importance of this DNA evidence that you have now in terms of eliminating people if someone's worried about giving their information to you.
That's right. There may be someone you were concerned about at the time who came home, or you've heard a name since. We can easily eliminate if the wrong person is identified to us.
OK, Emma, thank you so much for joining us today. Listen, as you heard in the film, Jennifer's mother simply wants to know what happened. If you can help, the number to call is 08000 468 999. Remember, it is free from landlines and mobile phones. That line's going to be open until 12:30 p.m. this morning. But don't forget, you can also text us 24 hours a day on 63399. Text the word crime, leave a space and then write your message. Text will be charged at your standard message rate. Or you can always send us an email. The address cwl@bbc.co.uk.